What is archaeology? Archaeology refers to the study of past human cultures through the things they left behind. It allows for an understanding of the past and contributes to cultural heritage. Archaeologists collect data through excavations, field surveys, and artifact analysis.
I can expose this thing. As I'm looking at it and clean it up, it's just a plain old rock.
Yet, when people think of archaeologists, ideas from pop culture come to mind.
That stonework is 17th century. What we're looking for is something much, much older.
Although entertainment media is for fun rather than education, pseudo-archaeological beliefs can surface. These beliefs are often rooted in racism, religious extremism, and esoteric views of reality. Yet movies and TV shows are not the only ways we ingest content about archaeology. Social media plays a vital role in the public's perception of the field. So what is the role of archaeology in the digital age, and why do we care? Hi, my name is Liliana, and I want to examine social media's effect on the archaeological field and how people interact with archaeological content online. Some of the primary ways archaeologists use social media are to make professional connections and to share their research. Websites and social media networks are used to call for papers and identify new and emerging research in various fields of study. From blogs to crowdsourcing to social media sites, archaeologists can share their data, experiences, and insight with a wider audience. Before the popularization of the internet, archaeologists relied on research papers and journalists to share their findings with the public. Research papers limited the audience to academics, while journalists could misrepresent findings. Social media allowed for archaeological data to be shared by archaeologists directly. Research is often shared publicly to gain feedback, yet academics do not always value public interpretations. Museums, for example, claim to be institutions that work for and with the public, yet hardly incorporate their ideas or address online discussions of repatriation and ethics. As Professor of Archaeology Kenneth L. Feder notes, archaeology is a science that clearly attracts a great deal of public interest. Our field exists, at least in part, because non-archaeologists are fascinated by the past. They take our courses, attend our lectures, buy our books, and visit our museums. Public interest is an important part of contemporary archaeology, yet quality archaeological information is limited online. Archaeologists were slow to join online spaces, which allowed for pseudo-scientists to fill in the gaps. Pseudo-archaeology has existed for generations. From the Piltdown Man to the misattribution of Mesoamerican ruins, misconstrued or faked archaeological data has been shared as scientific fact. This trend continues on the internet as interest in archaeology grows. Data shows that from 2020 to 2021, archaeology hashtags grew globally. Yet, people aren't looking to be hoodwinked. In a survey I conducted on Instagram using the story poll feature, I found that the majority of participants valued factual information from scientific social media accounts they followed. So, how can archaeologists adapt to share information with a tech-savvy generation? Though the internet allows for increased access to global information, the digital divide must be acknowledged. The digital divide is the ways that access to the internet is prevented. It also refers to the limits of motivations and skills determining how people use the internet. But what does this have to do with archaeology? Understanding the information shared by archaeologists relies on a knowledge of how to interpret and read data. For example, those who interact with online museum content tend to have prior interest in history, art, or science. Additionally, social media bolsters archaeological authority at the expense of gaining more interested participants. On sites like Wikipedia, Dr. Dominic Walker of the University of Cambridge notes, "It seems only by reference to some external source of authority can information on Wikipedia be considered expert, and it may reproduce societal inequalities which determine which knowledge is considered valuable." Although social media has not fundamentally altered the archaeological practice, it has allowed an interested public to learn more about the subject. Dr. Chiara Zuani, a professor of digital humanities at the University of Graz, Austria, notes that the internet was first cited as a source of archaeological knowledge in 1999. With billions of users on social media, the internet has become a primary source of news and data. Content online is ranked by popularity, which can be a sign of validated information. Yet, this system does not always mean that popular posts are important or accurate. Archaeologists must take advantage of interested online audiences to avoid content that values public interpretation over research and data. In a study of his Instagram following, archaeologist Gino Caspari found that his audience did additional reading after interacting with his post. In a similar survey, I found the majority of my followers skimmed or read articles when they were mentioned in tweets, TikToks, and Instagram posts. This data demonstrates that when presented with quality information online, users continue to learn about the topic with their own research. The interdisciplinary nature of archaeology can attract a wide range of people, especially on social media, which has a heterogeneous demographic. Individual researchers have more chances to succeed on social media than institutional accounts. Larger accounts tend to have lower engagement rates. These ratings boost content and spread posts to a larger audience. Personality and conscious connections allow researchers to establish more trust with the public than an institutional account. However, critics argue that selectivity, dramatization, and romanticism are negative products of individual researcher content creation. These behaviors are important for social media archaeologists to keep in mind, yet the trust established through their authenticity continues to be one of the best defenses against pseudo-archaeology online. Public archaeology aims to promote cultural stewardship and make archaeology relevant to the public. Sharing research online and bringing awareness to global archaeological issues are important in creating discussions about archaeology. Yet discussions online can lack nuance, with the voices of the majority drowning out those of the minority. The truth is the same in academic spaces, as traditional perspectives are given priority. Yet public archaeologists seek to challenge academic authority and center socio-political and epistemological issues. In a viral video posted by the Manchester Museum in 2013, a time-lapsed video of a spinning Egyptian statue garnered viral internet attention. While the video led to memes and pseudo-archaeological claims, discussions of restitution also became part of the conversation. What was an Egyptian statue doing in Manchester? How are Egyptian beliefs of the dead considered in museum context? The questions derived from the viral video led to a dialogic conversation, where no agreements are reached but an expansion of understanding is gained. This type of conversation is vital in public archaeology, as different communities work with archaeologists to experiment with ways to work together. It also allows for those within the field of archaeology to acknowledge biases they may have in interpretations of data. Multivocality, the idea of differences between archaeological experts and the communities they work with, can lead to an increased understanding of the purpose of the field. Online, the sharing of power from the experts to the public comes in the form of education and comprehensive data. Simple language and personal anecdotes promote understanding and counter prejudice. Yet social media algorithms can work against public archaeologists who seek to discuss topics such as human remains ethics, restitution, or climate change.
Yeah, we may not know their names, but they lived, and they are remembered, and they will not be forgotten.
My take on the whole thing is I'm relieved that finally the people who created the problem are finding a solution. And in my home growing up, when you made a mistake, you fixed it. You accepted responsibility for what you did.
Friends, will you join me in a brief moment of prayer?
Keisha Supernet is one of the only Indigenous archaeologists in Canada. For the last few months, her work has been at the center of a national reckoning. In May, an Indigenous community in Kamloops, British Columbia found more than 200 likely graves of children. who were forced to attend a boarding school for Indigenous kids. The next month, 751 more were found in Saskatchewan. The discovery sparked a hunt for unmarked graves in other sites, like this one near a former hospital.
When we're looking for unmarked graves, we want to make sure that we're covering every part of the ground, and we'll pull this along and then move 25 centimeters over and pull it along.
Like mowing a lawn.
Like mowing a lawn. So as you walk, it starts to build a picture of what's happening. So between here and here, something's different in the soil. We can get a hint of it here, but then we take it back, we download the data, we do some analysis, and then we can say, okay, this looks like a grave.
The contentious nature of these topics can limit the reach of content, despite creator and recipient engagement. Despite the algorithmic limitations, having accounts on multiple social media networks and secondary communication channels can avoid losing engagement.
And in the mix of all that, we're also asking them, what are you curious about? And oftentimes it's that thought and that point of curiosity that'll lead to greater research questions and a desire to have those questions answered.
Archaeology in the age of social media has the ability to educate an already curious public about the field. It is vital that archaeologists adapt to sharing research and data online to combat the spread of pseudo-archaeological claims. Comprehensive language, personal anecdotes, and a dedication to quality information are useful tools for archaeologists to cultivate a following on social media. As we have seen with other fields, archaeology seeks to benefit from interacting with the public, and the public benefits from learning from them.